Today is Wednesday, January 22nd, and I've got several special sports opinions, football. And then I'm just wondering what's happened to what once appeared to be a formidable Mavericks team.
And now, a word from our title sponsor.
Eyeing retirement? Let us show you how to turn your nest egg into a paycheck with half the amount you've been led to believe. Fluent Financial combines in-house portfolio design and risk management with income-generating investments designed to accelerate your financial independence. Let us develop an effective portfolio strategy that works for you so you can retire sooner and have a better lifestyle. Fluent Financial can also implement a program that allows business owners to install a cash balance plan, which is designed to help drastically reduce income tax payments. You've worked hard to become successful. Let us develop an effective portfolio strategy that works for you. Learn more today about Fluent Financial. Retire sooner, better lifestyle. For more information or to schedule a meeting, visit fluentfinancial.com or call 972-852-4800.
Of all the people interviewing for head coaching jobs these days, probably the most wanted was the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, Ben Johnson. And after their season ended this weekend, Johnson quickly accepted the Chicago Bears coaching job. And to my knowledge, he didn't even ever talk to the Dallas Cowboys. Last week on Just Wondering, I threw out the opinion, I thought of all the available jobs out there, and by the way, this includes the Cowboys, I thought the Bears was the best job available. They have a young, moldable quarterback, Caleb Williams, who'll be cheap for 4 more years. They've got a totally set receiver core, all young, all outstanding players. They've got 4 of the top 72 picks in the coming NFL draft, and they've got more free agent cap room than any other NFL team. And that probably closes the door. Well, it does close the door to Coach Big Mac, Mike McCarthy, on the Bears job. That leaves him maybe pursuing the Saints job, or them pursuing him. And if he doesn't get that one, well, maybe taking that year off. Also, the other coordinator with the Lions, Aaron Glenn, their defensive coordinator, is apparently going to be the next head coach of the New York Jets. He's been on the staff here before, so he's got Cowboy connections. And to my knowledge, he has not talked to the Cowboys about the vacant Cowboy coaching job. But now, if reports are correct, Aaron Glenn's got to deal with the nonsense that the New York Jets have become. Next, Baltimore quarterback Lamar Jackson's a fabulous player. So is running back Derrick Henry. John Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in the NFL. The defense is very, very sound. But somehow, they keep finding ways to not win the Super Bowl. The latest, this past weekend's excruciatingly painful defeat to Buffalo. In a knife-twisting ending, Baltimore, they failed on 2 two-point conversions in a 2-point loss. And the last of those failures was a drop by their star tight end, Mark Andrews, when he was wide open at the goal line. Had he just caught the ball, it would have been a tie game and heading into the last 2 minutes. But count the mistakes Baltimore made Sunday. They allowed 2 sacks. Besides that dropped Mark Andrews 2-point conversion that tied the game, they had 3 other crucial drops. They had 3 turnovers. When's the last time Baltimore had 3 turnovers in a game? Well, it was last year in the playoff loss that eliminated them from last year's playoff situation. They had 5 penalties. This is a terrific team, a terrific quarterback, a terrific coach. They just, for some reason, can't get it done. DraftKings is already out with its odds on which teams will win next year's Super Bowl. Of course, at the top, Kansas City, Detroit, Baltimore, Buffalo. And the Cowboys? Of the 32 teams in the National Football League, DraftKings listed the Cowboys as the number 19 most likely team to win the Super Bowl. Behind them, in front of them, the Bears, the Seahawks, and the Falcons. Do you know how this must chap Jerry, who, by the way, owns a piece of DraftKings? And finally, for this first part of the episode, what was he thinking? Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman. I watched last Monday's national championship game of college football in amazement. After Notre Dame scored on their first drive, an impressive, more than 9-minute drive, Ohio State just took over the game. They pounded in 3 first-half touchdowns. They led 21-7 at the half, moved that out to 31-7 as the game reached the late third quarter. The game was over, for heaven's sakes. Nobody digs themselves out of a hole that big in a national championship game. Well, but there was one very tiny fantasy piece of thinking for Notre Dame. If they could score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion, that would narrow the lead to 16. And then score another touchdown and get another 2-point conversion, that would narrow it to 8. And then score yet another touchdown and another 2-point conversion, and that would draw them even. Yeah, I know. It's funny what will happen to your mind when you're playing with possibilities that don't seem to have any chance of becoming real. But then this fairy tale started to at least slightly take shape. Notre Dame scored a touchdown and got a 2-point conversion. That narrowed the game to 31-15. And then they got the ball back. And then they hurried downfield and got inside the Ohio State 10 and faced 4th and goal in there. It was at that point that Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman seemed to me did a terrible miscalculation and made a bizarre decision. He went for a short field goal. Why? You've got to tie the game before you can win the game. Even if they make that short field goal, it's 31-18, and you've still got to get the ball back twice and go down the field 2 more times and get it 1 2-point, or you don't have to get any more 2-point conversions. But then it looked much worse because their field goal kicker, Mitch Jeter, doinked a short field goal, leaving the Irish still down those 16 points. Had he gone for it on 4th down, even if he fails, he leaves Ohio State inside the 10-yard line with the hope that if the Notre Dame defense holds, they get the ball back maybe around midfield. But as fate would have it, they did get the ball back. They did drive down the field and score again. They did get another 2-point conversion, and that made it 31-23. But Ohio State then ran for 1st down, and on 3rd down hit a long pass play, and with just under a half-minute remaining, kicked a field goal to go ahead by 11. The final score, 34-23. After the game, Coach Freeman who is one outstanding football coach. He blamed himself. And I'm going to bet he was thinking of that field goal decision. And I'm going to bet that well into the rest of his life, he's going to be thinking about that field goal decision. Next, what's happening to the Mavericks?
In 1993, Bob opened the original Bob's Steak and Chop House on Lemon Avenue. 32 years later, the original Bob still greets you at the original Bob's. And now his sparkling new Bob's at Craig Ranch has opened in McKinney. Same fantastic beef and fresh seafood at these two Bob's, each run by the Bob's Steak and Chop House.
The 2025 Cadillac Optique has arrived at Crest Cadillac, and it's a game changer. Huge curved display inside, available Super Cruise for hands-free driving, and all the latest savvy tech. It's like driving the future. The new 25 Cadillac Optique is gorgeous, sleek, modern Cadillac look. It's also super practical with tons of cargo space. And you can lease any 2025 Cadillac Optique this month and pay no sales tax. Visit Crest Cadillac to test drive an Optique today, off 121 on the Tollway in Frisco, or online at CrestCadillacTX.com. Live your Crest life. The Mavs entered the season as a good basketball team. They'd made a lot of impressive off-season changes. They were deep, they were talented, they seemed to have addressed one especially big need in getting Klay Thompson to be a long-range shooter for this team. They started 10-8, and then they reeled off 6 straight wins to go to 16-8. The plan was working. This was a very good-looking basketball team. It was at that point that the Mavs veered off the road, and veered off the road because of injuries. Look at the list so far this season as we speak this morning. Luka Doncic, who is still out and will be out a while longer, has missed 21 of the Mavs' 43 games. Kyrie Irving, who's playing spectacularly, but is now managing a disc issue in his back. He has already missed 10 of 43 games. Center Derek Lively, who's out right now, has missed 11 of 43 games. P.J. Washington got a suspension, had some small injury problems. He's missed 7 of 43 games. Forward Najee Marshall, he also suffered through a suspension and some injuries. He's missed 9 of 43 games. Here's the odd thing. Those are 5 of the Mavericks' top 6 players. The 6th is Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, we knew because of his age, was going to need resting. The Mavericks are going to have to be careful with him. Klay Thompson's only missed 5 games so far in 43. The aging Klay Thompson has been the most available of all the Mavericks' top players. And what's happened here is that the chemistry has been torn up. Every night, it seems, there's some change in the starting lineup created by injuries. From that point of 16-8, the Mavericks are now dropped to 23-20. That means they've lost 12 of their last 19. And immediately ahead of them on the schedule, Minnesota, Boston, and Oklahoma City. It's possible the Mavericks do a little more losing in the next few days. That 23-20 record ties them for 7th and 8th in the NBA West with Minnesota. But in the incredibly bunched West, the Mavs are only 1.5 games ahead of 11th place Remember, only 10 teams make the playoffs. The hope is that the Mavericks will all eventually get well. There's no one who's out for the season. Everybody who's hurt should return, and by the way, should return in the next 2-3 weeks. Cross your fingers, cross anything that'll cross. And that the Mavericks will all be healthy for the stretch run. At least, that's the plan. But then, the plan to begin the season was to have this deep team fortified against injuries. That was the plan. The plan now? Be patient, get well, find someplace above 7th in the final standings of the West, and be a dangerous team in the playoffs.
Today's episode brought to you by Fluent Financial. Retire sooner, better lifestyle. And by Crest Cars. There's good, there's better, and then there's Crest. And by Bob's Steak and Chop House.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Just Wondering with Norm Hitzges. If you enjoyed what you heard, please hit follow, and a fresh new episode will be delivered to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you know someone who might enjoy our work, please share it with them. I'm Norm Hitzges, and I'm always just wondering about something.
And I'm Mary Hitchkus, and I'm just wondering too.